What is up, my little pretties? It's your mistress, the Queen of Lions here, and today, welcome back to another episode of Shadows and Pretties. Now, this is episode 28, as you may know. Well, if you clicked on the video, you guys may know. So, today in this, episode of Shadows and Pretties, we are going to be talking about another Halloween-related movie. Now, this came out, around 2012. And there is a series of it because there is like a television series based on it. There are 2 sequels with it. So, with that being said, we're going to get on to it. Now, this story today we're going to be talking about today is called Hotel Transylvania. Now, I'm sure most of you guys who have seen this one, comment down if you haven't. This is one of the best Adam Sandler movies that I've ever seen. I've seen some other Adam Sandler movies are being good, but this one, on the other hand, is actually one of the good ones. Now, for those who, don't like the movie, that's totally fine, because I completely respect your opinion. Now, we are going to, basically watch this. Well, not watch the movie, but if you guys haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend you check it out, as you will not be disappointed. And if you have not seen this movie yet and you don't want any spoilers, I highly recommend that you click on this video right now and go watch another of my videos if you all would like to. Alright. Now, there is a second one to this, which is Hotel Transylvania 2, which takes 7 years after the first film, even though that one was released in 2015. And there's a third one, which released in 2018, called Summer Vacation. Now, however, though, there is a 4th film of Hotel Transylvania set to be released on August 6th of 2021. Now, before we get started, I have seen the first movie, and I actually found the first movie to be rather a really awesome one. Like, it's a really good one, in fact. So, I highly recommend you check out the sequel, which is Hotel Transylvania 2, which I will be getting to it, but first, I am going to recap on the first movie, kindly explaining what happens in the first movie. So if you guys haven't seen the movie in a long time, this would actually refresh your memory. So, I guess without any, further ado, I guess we should just, get started on this. Alrighty. And with that being said, let's begin, shall we? Now, of course, with the plot of the first one, which takes place in 1895, after the death of Dracula's wife, Martha, at the hands of an angry human mob, Count Dracula commissions to build a massive 5-star monster-only hotel in Transylvania. Yeah, yes, guys, Transylvania is a real place, just so you know. Which he raises his daughter Mavis, who serves as a safe haven and a getaway for the world's monsters from fear and from human persecution. So the famous monsters that we do see, and this is probably taken, some similarities to, the famous, Halloween, movies, like Dracula, the werewolf, the mummy, Frankenstein, etc. Now that's probably just an inspiration, but I know it's probably another inspiration for another movie that has done something like this, which is Scooby-Doo. And I believe it was also Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School that kind of did something like this. Same thing could be really said for Reluctant Werewolf, which I will be talking about those movies in another episode. So, with that being said, I'm going to say right now that I want to wish people who live in Canada and that are sub to me the happy Thanksgiving. And if you guys live in the States, you could just say happy Thanksgiving to me from Canada. Well, from US if you don't live in Canada. So, by the way, let's get started. So the famous monsters are in there, such as a Frankenstein, his wife Eunice, and Wanda Werewolf, and their massive immediate family, the Invisible Man, and the Mummy. Of course, they come often to stay at the hotel. In the present day of Mavis's 118th birthday, Dracula allows his daughter to leave the castle to explore the human world, but he ends up celebrating an elaborate plan made using the zombie bee and bellhops as disguised as humans to make them sound imitating and frightening her to home. So the plan works, and the zombies had led a 21-year-old human boy named Jonathan, or Johnny for short, back to the hotel. So Dracula frantically disguises him as a Frankenstein and monster and passes him off as Frank's cousin, Johnny Stein. So Jonathan soon encounters Mavis, and the two had a zing, which, of course, what I mean by that is, they both, suddenly fell in love all of a sudden. Yeah, love at first sight. Pretty much almost in every single, movie. Well, pretty much like that. Alright. Now, unable to get Johnny out of the hotel, Dracula decides to improvise as Johnny that he is a party planner and brought to fresh sure to approach his own at traditional and boring parties. So Johnny becomes quickly a hit to other monsters, but his disguise worries Drac greatly. So, however, Drac ended up orders Johnny to leave, and he's brought back by Mavis. After being shown by the beauties of the sunrise, Johnny and Mavis is inspired to give the humans another chance. However, though, Dracula does not like the idea. So, you could definitely say right there, it's kind of like the Lion King too. Kiara is, being friends with Kovu, who is the outsider, wants to give the outsider a chance, but Simba is not liking that. Yeah. You might see some similarities of that, just so you guys are fully aware. Meanwhile, the chef Hotel Quasimodo is in help with his pet rat Esmeralda, learns that Johnny is a human, and kidnaps to try to cook him. Drac intervenes and magically freezes Quasimodo to keep him from telling everyone that Johnny is a human. So Drac leads Johnny to his quarters and shows him a painting of Martha, allowing Johnny to realize why Drac built the place in the hotel, became overprotective of Mavis. Yeah, just like Simba, who is overprotective of his daughter, and Johnny agrees to leave for good, but Drac convinces him to stay for the time being to avoid ruining Mavis's birthday. So the birthday is another great sex that night, and Mavis is looking forward to opening the gift from Martha. However, when Johnny and Mavis share their first kiss, Dracula overreacts and outbursts and confesses deceiving Mavis into a town. And of course, Mr. Fly reveals from his frozen speech with Quasimodo that Johnny is a human disguised by Drac, and the guests are outraged, and of course Mavis is undeterred of that she wants to be with Johnny. So Johnny just, of course, then disinterest in Mavis and rejects her out of respect for her father and leaves the hotel. So Mavis flies to the roof with her mother's present, and Dracula follows her in hopes of comforting her, but he learns the present the book about how Martha and Drac zinged and fell in love. Drac realizes that he no longer knows humankind's true tolerance of monsters. After apologizing to the patroons, Drac convinces Frank, Wayne, Griffin, and Murray to head out to the human world to find Johnny with the scent tracking ability of Wayne's daughter, Weenie. Now, when they learn to leave that he is about to catch a flight to the United States, the four of them head to the airport, but they were up in a town celebrating a monster festival along the way. Admiring the group, the humans agree to help, and as the men disguised as vampires provides Drac enough shelter from the sunlight as he rushes to the airport. Once Drac arrives to see Johnny taking off, he gives a chase in the bat form, and burning by the sunlight after gaining Johnny's attention, Drac makes his way back to the front of the plane and uses his mind-controlling power on the pilot to help him apologize, stating that Mavis has grown up and can make her own decisions. So Johnny accepts his apology, and Drac manipulates his pilot to return to Transylvania Airport. Drac returns Johnny to Mavis, announcing the approves of Johnny. So Johnny eventually confesses his love to Mavis, that their zing was mutual, and the two kissed. So that's basically pretty much wraps up the end of the first movie. I actually found this movie to be rather amazing and really well done. It's a really good story, and I have to say that despite the fact that, this is actually a pretty interesting movie, I could definitely, really see this being really good. Like, Selena Gomez as Mavis, oh my goodness. Her voice is just amazing in this, and I actually found her to be rather amazing and well done. But of course, we do have, some other characters like Adam Sandler. Oh my goodness, Adam Sandler, he is just amazing, just amazing, to be completely honest. And I have to say that the story itself with this is all amazing, really well done, and just flat out awesome. Like, it's just really amazing and cool to say, the fact that, this whole, movie or something like that. Just absolutely turns out to be really, really well done. Now, I definitely have to say, despite the fact that, the movie itself was actually pretty amazing and well done, I have to say that the movie actually turned out to be really good. Now, of course, the voice acting of this is pretty cool, even though I did recognize Kevin James, who is another actor that I did recognize. But of course, there's some other actors and actresses in there that I didn't recognize at one point. But with that being said, it's pretty cool and really well made. And the story itself is just absolutely amazing. Despite the fact that this is just so awesome, I could definitely say that this movie was actually dark at times, but it actually does pretty cool. And the fact that Adam Sandler was Dracula, that just made the movie a whole lot better. So, of course, we are going to, talk about the second one. Now, I have seen the second one, just so you know, but if you guys have not seen the second movie, I highly recommend you click off this video right now if you haven't seen the second one. But, of course, this takes place after the events of the first film. Mavis and Johnny eventually get married with the approval of Dracula. And, of course, they too came fully unaware of the existence of monsters. Mavis, of course, reveals to Drac that she's pregnant and gives birth to a son named Dennis. After Dennis's nearly 5 birthday years, he has yet to grow a set of fangs, and Dracula worries that his grandson may not gain vampire powers. Of course, Mavis decides to consider raising Dennis where Johnny grew up. Much to Dracula's disapproval, Drac and tells Johnny need to bring Mavis to California to visit his parents. But, of course, Mike and Linda had to make sure to keep them distracted so that she would not move, leaving Drac to babysit Dennis. So, of course, Dracula and his friends wanted to help Dennis become a monster and get him to fly. So, yeah, grandparents do crazy things, but even though that might be the case, but let's get started. So, Drac takes Dennis to his childhood summer camp, Camp Winnipeka, where he learns to hone his vampire abilities. But, of course, that, fails miserably. So, with that being said, had the transformation of the bat, Dennis, however, learns not to transform, and of course Mavis angrily gets upset about what's going on and decides to fly herself and Johnny back to Transylvania. So, of course, or the stunt of what happens by the campers were uploaded onto the internet, which eventually reaches Johnny and Mavis. Of course, they're not happy, but of course she confronts by putting Dennis in grave danger to ability to accept that he's human. Now, it states that she'll move out of the hotel with or before or after Dennis's 5th birthday following Wednesday. Dracula, of course, was guilt. So Mavis invites Vald, her grandfather and Drac's father, to Dennis's party, but much as Vald is more worse than he when it comes to humans, Drac tells Johnny to have a human partygoers disguise themselves as monsters. So Vald receives the invitation and arrives with his mysterious bat monster servant Bela, who basically is to meet his great-grandson for the first time. So upon meeting him, he believes that the fear will cause Dennis's fangs to sprout out his poses as performers, and dressed as Dennis' favorite monster, Cakey the Cake Monster. Now, to scare Dennis, but of course, Drac shields himself as frightening grandson at the last minute, breaks Vald's holdover performer, exposes the deception to Vald, who basically was outraged that Drac has accepted the humans as guests in his hotel and let Johnny and Dennis be human. Drac confronts his father about how humans are different now, and Mavis becomes upset with her grandfather's behavior. While the whole family argues, Dennis sadly flees the hotel and enters the forest with Wayne's daughter, Weenie, she has a crush on Dennis. So they're hiding in the tree. So, however, they get attacked by Bela, who mistakes Dennis for being a human. When Bela injures Winnie and threatens to destroy the hotel, Dennis's anger causes him to instantly grow his fangs, and the vampire abilities kick in. So he begins to fight Bela, who calls for his big bat minions. Drac, Johnny, Mavis, Dennis, and everyone else decides to fight the monsters by teaming up to defeat Bela's minions and drive them away. And of course, Bela then attempts to kill Johnny himself with a stake, but however, he's been won over by Drax's calm that humans are now coexist and peacefully. Val shrinks Violet and tells him to never bother his family again, saving everyone else. And of course, with that, with Dennis having his vampire abilities, Johnny and Mavis decide to continue raising him in Transylvania, and they resume the party with friends and family. So that's basically the end of the second movie. What I could really definitely say, what I really liked about the second movie, was that the second movie was actually well done and made. Like, it was just as good as the first movie. Like, I actually found it just to be just as good as the first movie. Like, I actually really liked the first movie, but I think the second one did pretty good too. In many ways that I could count, I actually found the second movie to be just as good as the first one. So, of course, like I'm going to say right now, I'm not going to go too much into detail on the third movie, mainly because I haven't seen it, but I'm just going to explain a little bit about it just to give you an idea. Now, I know there is a fourth movie, but it is in development right now, so it is scheduled to be out next year. So, that's going to be a story for another day. So, of course, we're just going to say that, Dracula and his friends disguise on a train to vacation, but of course, his arch enemy, Professor Sir Abraham Van Helsing, aborts the train and, of course, unveils the monsters. So, basically, on the present day, Hotel is what Dracula is running with his daughter Mavis and his son in law Johnny. Drac is depressed that he remained single ever since his wife passed, and he attempts to meet someone out there. But of course, he meets another girl who is on a cruise ship. And of course, her name was Erica. So basically, that's basically the plot. They're like on a ship or something, like a cruise. But of course, they really do know that this is actually a really interesting movie from the what I've been heard about the third one. Now, I'm not really sure about if I want to see the third one yet. Well, I've heard about it being decent, so I might consider checking it out, even though I like the first two movies. Now, like I said, I'm not going through the entire of the third movie because I know some people who haven't seen the third movie yet probably don't want me to spoil it, but I haven't seen the fourth movie yet, but my brother has, so that's definitely a plus for him, but I'm jealous that he's seen it and I haven't, but yet again, I could definitely say the first two movies were more than enough, but even if when the fourth movie does come out, I am hoping the fourth movie is just as good as the first one was. Like, the first one was pretty good. Same thing could be said for the second one, but I don't really know if the third movie is ever going to come out. That is just a question I'm trying to face right now. But I'm going to say right now that the first movie was good, just like the second movie, but I'm not really sure about the third movie too much because, well, the third movie, I haven't seen it yet. Now, I'm just going to wrap up the review. I really like the first two movies, and if you haven't seen Hotel Transylvania yet, and you managed to, are okay with spoilers, highly recommend you check out the movie, as you will not be disappointed. Check out the first one, check out the second one, and if you want to check out the third one, let me know, and then tell me what your thoughts are on in the comment section down below. Anyways, my little pretties, that was episode 28 of Shadows and Pretties. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel. Ring the bell for notifications so then that way you'll get, notifications to my uploads. And as always, I will be seeing you all in the next video. So peace out and I'll catch you all next time.